My name is Somashekar, course faculty for this course. This figure will show you some of the main parts in the vane pumps. Slotted rotor and a vane plate. This vane plate is a rectangular plate which will slides in the slots of the rotor, either freely or through the spring. For better understanding, I have shown you some of the photographic view of the pump. Here you will see the slotted rotor and a vanes are inserted here. You will see the friends, rectangular vane plates. Here also you will see in assembly. Rotor and vanes are here. Here you will see these are the vanes. This is a rotor connected to the shaft here of the prime mover, and one more very important part what I have shown is the cam ring. These are the main elements in the vane pump, irrespective of whether it is a balanced vane pump or variable type of pumps. What are the three important parts? Slotted rotor, vanes and cam ring. These are the important parts in the vane pump. Let us will see one by one. Variable displacement, unbalanced vane pump it is what we are discussing now. It basically consists of a rotor which contains a radial slots, is splined to the drive shaft and rotate inside a cam ring. This will show the various parts here. Slotted rotor, circular cam ring and a vane plates. These vane plates are inserted in the rotor. You will see here vane plates how they are freely suspended. Then rotor is connected to the shaft. This is a cam ring. Also you will see here some of the schematic diagram I have drawn. This one is cam ring, this is a rotor and these are the vanes. Now we will see here friends in this figure the rotor axis and a cam ring axis are offset to each other. That is, both rotor and cam ring are mounted eccentrically. You will see this axis is a cam ring axis, this is a rotor axis. Both are offset to each other. Each slot in a rotor contains a vane which are flat plates, as I have told you, freely suspended or spring loaded. They are designed to mat with the surface of the cam ring. During the operation, they will mat with the surface of the cam ring. As the rotor rotates, the centrifugal force keeps the vanes out from the rotor slot against the surface of the circular cam ring to form the positive seal. You will see here when the rotor starts rotating, the vanes will thrown out and they will mat with the surface of the cam ring. What for it is? They will seals, meaning oil will carried in the pockets from the suction to the discharge. Then vanes, when they will reciprocate, how it is? You will see here the port plates. Port plate with a kidney shaped port openings. This is the inlet port and outlet port. Now we will see the pumping theory in a vane pump, how the fluid is transported from the tank to the actuator site, how it is. Let us will see, as we know as the rotor rotates through 1/2 revolution, what happens? The volume increases between the rotor and the cam ring. So, the resulting volume expansion causes a reduction in pressure at the inlet of the vane pump, known as the suction pressure or a vacuum pressure, which causes the fluid to flow through the inlet port and fill the void. You will see friends here the schematic diagram. This is a rotor, rotor axis, cam ring axis. For better understanding of the pumping theory, I have not shown the vane here. You will see here when the rotor rotates, the increasing volume you will observe friends here, A, B, C, this area you will see the volume increases in the half revolution of the rotor. This increasing volume creates a partial vacuum at the inlet beginning. Once the fluid is catched, fluid is transported to the other side on the another half revolution. What happened? You will see another half revolution, this area you will see decreasing. So, as the rotor rotates through second half of the revolution, the surface of the cam ring pushes the vanes back into their slot and the trapped volume is reduced. See the light blue colored line what I have marked here. When the rotor rotates another half revolution, this volume decreases. So, what happens? The pump ejects positively the trapped fluid through the discharge port and then it enters the actuator through the various valves. Please see here friends, the pumping theory is very important, which will shows us that the increasing volume and decreasing volume is very essential. If this increasing volume and decreasing volume will not ensure, then pump will not sense the any flow. That is very important. You will see here when it will rotate, I have marked here the increasing volume. Then it will rotate another half, it is a decreasing volume. So, in one word, when the rotor rotates half revolution, volume increases and the vanes thrown out, which will mat with the cam surface for the positive sealing, and the oil will carry in the viots to the discharge side. During the discharge, what is very important? Another half revolution of the rotor pushes the fluid out of the discharge port. This increasing volume and a decreasing volume is a very important in the pumping theory, which is ensured here what I have shown you. Let us quickly, I will show you here, same thing it is. Here you will see friends, the increasing volume, that is why oil enters in this region. Then what happens? Oil is carried around the cam ring and pumping chambers, these are the see here, what I have marked here. Also you will see friends, the vane will seals, positive seal. Vane will thrown out and it will come to the surface of the cam ring. Then oil will be carried. Then here the volume decreases. What happens? Then the fluid is discharged from the port, the inlet port, outlet port. When this eccentricity, what I have shown here is 0, then what happens friends? No increasing volume, then only it will recirculate, no discharge you will get. That's why when eccentricity is 0, the oil will simply recirculate without affecting any discharge. But as the eccentricity is increases, the flow also increases. Please note, the direction of flow is determined by the direction of eccentricity. I will explain this thing in the next slide. You will see here, friends, when the rotor axis and a cam ring axis coincides each other, meaning 0 eccentricity, no flow, because no increasing volume or no decreasing volume. All volumes are same. But you will see here, when I am giving the eccentricity, here I am giving maximum eccentricity E max, that time you will see the one half, the volume increases. Another half rotation, volume decreases. Meaning always there is an eccentricity between the cam ring and the rotor axis. Meaning there is a provision to make this E variable in the variable displacement pump. In the fixed displacement pump, E is fixed. Now let us will see, there must be the provision to move the cam ring to get the different flow rates. A hand wheel or a pressure compensator can be used to move the cam ring in relation to the rotor axis. As I have told you, the direction of flow through the pump can also be reversed by moving the cam ring in relation to the rotor axis. I will show you the simple sketch here. See friends here. Please see the suction port and discharge port and the direction of movement of the cam ring. Here a cam ring I moved from the center of the rotor to the right side. Then what happened? When it will rotate, the volume increases, that is why it is a suction, then it will carry it and discharge to the outlet. But if you will move the cam ring this to the left side, you will see now I moved the left side. That time what happened? When the rotor will rotate, this volume will see half, it will goes on increasing. That is why suction is here and discharge is here. Please note friends, if E increases, flow rate increases. Also, which direction you are moving the cam ring will matters to decide which is the suction side and which is the discharge side. Which is the suction side and which is the discharge side. The moment of the cam ring is very, very important for the two things. If E is increasing, flow rate increasing, and whether it is a, you are moving the, here in this figure you are moving the right side, suction is here, as because volume increases in this direction. If you move here, the volume increases in this direction when the rotor rotates. Now you will see friends, in the vane pump, these are the three important parameters. What is that? The cam ring, slotted rotor and the vanes. Slotted rotor and the cam ring are opposite to each other to get the flow. Then you will see what is this cartridge assembly. Very often in a vane pumps, the pumping mechanism is designed and formed as an integral assembly, which normally is called a cartridge assembly. This consists of vanes, rotor and a cam ring sandwiched between the port plates as shown in the figure here. You will see here, rotor, vanes, cam ring, and these are the kidney shaped port openings, port plates. You will see here the whole assembly, cartridge assembly is like this. You will also see here cartridge assembly, port plates, integral, all in one. Such an assembly is easy for maintenance and servicing when the system malfunctions. Another important advantage of using such an assembly lies in its easy replaceability when it is old and needs a replacement due to wear and tear. A new cartridge assembly can easily be fitted in place of the old ones when the old ones can be served for servicing if needed. Another advantage is that while fitting the new cartridge, the pump volume can be increased and decreased by using the cartridge having identical external dimension, but changing the internal dimension to suit the current and anticipated pumping requirement if needed. Another advantage when you are using the cartridge assembly. Now we will see the vane loading. The vane loading is very important, because when the vanes will thrown out, we require the positive sealing from the vane to the cam ring surfaces. Without the positive sealing, proper functioning of the vane pump is a difficult task. So generally, the vanes are displaced from the slots by the centrifugal force. As soon as the rotor starts rotating and achieves a positive sealing. That is why designer prescribes that the minimum operating speed of the vane pumps should not be below 600 rpm. The leakage of oil is dependent on the geometric configuration of the vanes and the cams. Tighter seal between the vane tip and a cam ring wall is desired to minimize the leakage. So, to achieve this, industrial vane pumps are designed such that a portion of the system pressure is directed to the underside of the vanes. Higher the system pressure, more force is developed to push the vane out of the cam ring to achieve the positive sealing as shown in the figure here. What they will do, friends, when as I have told you, these vanes are freely suspended in the slot. To make the positive sealing, what they will do, at the underside, they will use the small portion of the system pressure to push the vane to make the seal, perfect seal between the vane and the cam ring. That is the one important thing. You will see here system pressure will push here and make the seal here, positive seal. This hydraulic loading, meaning I am loading the vane, develops a tighter seal, but with too great force between the vane and cam ring would wear excessively, and the vanes would be a source of drag, and the pump will malfunction due to the mechanical failure of the pump parts. The scoring action will be more pronounced if the vanes is of the straight rectangular cross section as shown in the figure here. How to overcome this excessive loading? As a compromise between the best sealing and the least drag and wear, vanes may be designed with only partial loading. How to do this? A vane with a beveled edge as shown in the figure may also be used. You see here beveled edge, meaning you will see here hydraulic pressure available. Meaning the force and sealing takes place here, previously larger area. The use of vanes with a chamfer or a beveled edge eliminates high vane loading. The complete underside vane area is exposed to the system pressure as well as the large portion of the area at the top of the vane. this results in a balance. The pressure which acts on unbalanced area is the force which loads the vein, making the vein tips round or beveled depending on the materials and the experience. Making veins thinner reduces the area against which the pressure is applied. This decreases thrust, friction and also rigidity of the veins. Now, we will see quickly the different types of veins are designed to make the veins during the operation for the positive sealing. Let us will see. For high pressure vein pumps, one can generally use the following types of vein. You will see one, a dual vein. The figure is shown here, dual vein. What is this dual vein? As the name suggests, it consists of two veins in each slot of the rotor. With this arrangement, the vein is considerably balanced with a possibility of positive sealing. See here, the system pressure what we are sending here, it is available here. The two veins in the each slots. Next one is a intra-vein. You will see the intra-vein. What is this? It consists of a smaller vein within a larger vein with a beveled edge. The delivery pressure from the pump is directed above the smaller vein, resulting in less loading. Then pin vein. What is this pin vein? Similar to the intra-vein design, in a pin vein, the delivery pressure is directed underside of the pin, which forces the vein out against the cam ring surface. Or you may use the spring loaded veins also, as I have told you. Here a spring is used to force the vein against the cam ring along with the system pressure. You will see here. They will fit the spring and a vein, and also they will use a system pressure. Another one is angular vein. Here the veins are positioned at an angle in the rotor. You see here. This may reduces the loading on the vein without any mechanical means. Now, quickly we will see how to arrive the volumetric displacement, theoretical flow rate and a volumetric efficiency in case of the vein pump if we know the geometrical feature of the vein pump. Now, let us consider the main parameter here, the cam ring. I am seeing you is a cam ring and the rotor. DC, what I have marked here, DC is the diameter of the cam ring, dr is a diameter of the rotor, W is a width of the rotor, E is the eccentricity between the rotor and the cam ring, Emax is maximum possible eccentricity, N is RPM of the rotor, Vd is volumetric displacement, Vd max is maximum possible pump displacement. So, from the geometry, whatever the parameter I assumed here, we can find the maximum possible eccentricity, Emax equal to DC minus dr by 2. This maximum eccentricity produces a maximum volumetric displacement, which is given by pi by 4 DC square minus dr square into width of the vein, width of the rotor. Now, what we will do? Rearranging the term, we have pi by 4, I am separating these into two terms, DC plus dr and DC minus dr into W. Then from this equation, what is DC minus dr? DC minus dr equal to 2Ex. Then I am substituting this dC minus dr here in this equation. Substituting the expression here, then what is the Vd max? Vd max equal to 2 1 ja and 2 2 ja, meaning pi by 2 dC plus dr into E max into W. For the fixed displacement pump, E max is constant, correct? Then it is given by pi by 2 dC plus dr into E, whatever the eccentricity, into W. Theoretical flow rate Qt is determined using the expression Vd into N, because already we know Vd how to calculate. Once we know this, the actual flow rate we are calculating using the volumetric displacement, volumetric efficiency, because you will see here the theoretical flow rate depending upon Vd into N, substitute here Qa equal to volumetric efficiency into Qt.